Hello and welcome to Faith Evolving. My name is Clare, and today I'm going to be talking about how fundamentalism stole the fun out of faith. So if you're around the Christianity parts of YouTube, you probably know about the Fundy Snark community. Fundy is short for fundamentalists, where people sort of just dunk on fundamentalist Christians, especially for being fundamentalists. And I personally am not as much in the business of that, but I can say that as someone who did not grow up in fundamentalist spheres, who grew up mainline Protestant, my engagement with fundamentalism did not come until I came across them on the internet about 2 years ago, and it has had nothing but an adverse bad effect on my own personal faith. You see, fundamentalism comes from the series of essays that were published in 1900-something. I'll pop it up here. Early 20th century, called The Fundamentals, and it's written by a lot of different people were part of this project. But overall, it was a reaction to different scientific discoveries, different archaeological discoveries in the realm of biblical studies that began to contradict what tradition had been teaching for centuries. And instead of adapting with those new discoveries and letting that affect the way that Christianity could be practiced, the fundamentals and the legacy of the fundamentals rather doubled down on the tradition. And the primary focus became certainty and apologetics, defending the faith with the perception that people were trying to take faith away. Or rather that these discoveries were trying to replace faith and cannot be compatible with faith, which I personally find frickin' stinking ridiculous, but that's my own can of worms to open on my own time. And because it was scary, because the whole worldview was starting to crumble. And we still see that today with channels like Girl Defined and Paul and Morgan, who are very staunch in just one way of believing. And that is not my approach to religion, and it never really has been for as long as I can remember. You see, to me, religion is art. It's often talked about within the sphere of the humanities: philosophy, religion, music, theater, visual art, poetry. All of these things are creative in nature. They're about conveying truth, not as fact, but as this existential whimsy.
That shit don't even make no fucking sense.
I'm using big words, but non-tangible thing of, I sound absolutely bonkers, so let me make this a little bit more concrete. Take a song. I love the song Motion Sickness by Phoebe Bridgers, and the chorus says, I have emotional motion sickness. Somebody roll the windows down. Does she actually, is she actually nauseous from her emotions? Does she want someone to physically, is she in a car and she physically needs someone to roll a window down? No. It's a comparison to an image that people are familiar with to convey emotions, which are these things that words sometimes can't accurately portray the depth of. And to me, the Bible and religion is a very similar thing because it's art, it's literature. And so trying to over-explain the Bible would be like over-explaining this Phoebe Bridgers song. It loses some of the punch by saying, no, this is the one way that you can read, I have emotional motion sickness, somebody roll the windows down, and it's going to be the most literal thing possible. Then where's the fun in that? Where's the fun in explaining a joke? It ruins it. And so now we have this culture in Christianity of certainty and that this is the one way to do things. And if you don't do it this way, you're not a Christian. And this fear of being wrong has sucked all of the creativity and the imagination out of being a faithful practitioner of this ancient way of connecting with the divine. And I, for one, am absolutely sick of it. And maybe this is just because I know what it's like to get comments from people saying you're not a real Christian. So maybe this video is just vanity, vanity, vanity. Ecclesiastes, bitch, I know my Bible. Hevel, hevel, hevel. But who says faith can't be fun? Why has faith become pain? And like sacrificing the very essence of who you are. I think, yeah, you have to sacrifice like active hatred and harm to other people, but you don't have to sacrifice like your very personhood for the sake of Christ to be like a little robot. Like, I don't want to be a robot for Christ. I want to be Mary Clare who's following Christ because I love the message and I believe that hope and love and life will ultimately prevail. I want to be a Christian because I find the stories that have been passed down to me incredibly powerful for the way that I live my life. And I'm tired of Christianity being about fear. And perhaps this is othering, but fundamentalists have stolen the fun out of faith and then they try to repackage it and insert it in by having you play Chubby Bunny at youth group and then making you cry the next minute. And I don't think that that is the way that we're meant to be doing things. Especially when, meanwhile, people are actually facing harm through transphobia and racism and mass shootings, either at the hands of Christians or Christians are like, oh, well, we'll just, take away reproductive rights and then just give the baby a gun to defend himself. That can work, right? Religion should not be a formula. Religion should be a communal, crafting of a way to live life that should be ever-changing. And maybe we have doctrine and it's sort of guideposts before you're like, maybe this is a different thing now. But I'm just angry and I'm just tired. And I went to the Creation Museum and the Ark Encounter and it just pissed me off. Because I walked through those halls and I was like, this is not what it's supposed to be about. This is missing the whole point of these stories. They're not a textbook. They're lessons. They're like Aesop's fables, but containing divinity, and I love it. And fundamentalism makes me love my faith that I hold so dear and close, and it's part of who I am that I like. It bubbles out of me and makes me hate that part of myself. Because I don't want to say I'm a Christian and have that be what people think about. Because to me, that's never what it's been about. But I'm fired up and I want to just yell. It's like the Israelites with the golden calf. When Moses was up on Mount Sinai doing his thing with God, and they constructed this golden calf for the God that delivered them. It was still to God, but it was missing the whole point. And we're just doing that again. We're taking this ancient sacred thing and then worshiping that as if it's God when God is so much bigger. But when you're taught that story is about, a golden calf and only a golden calf, and actually a little naked woman is the golden calf, and you don't translate it to your own religion, you miss it. You miss the way these stories can translate to your own life. It's not only about how you're a bad, evil person. Like, purity culture, duh, is an idol. And then we're deconstructing purity culture, and then we're just making it all about sex again. When I'm like, that's barely part of the Bible. Like, it's all so much greater than this. And I'm tired of it. And I mean, I don't have an answer to it necessarily. I just don't want it to be the way it is. And I'm sure other people have better ideas for the way it is. I'm tired of it. Y'all, I'm tired of it. It's ruining the faith. It makes people want nothing to do with it. It makes me, someone who loves being a Christian, not want to call myself a Christian. And that's heartbreaking to me. And I hate that. I hate that. And it's not because I just want to go out and sin. I just have a different idea of what sin is. I don't think it's just sex. Because, hey, I'm asexual. I wouldn't even want to do it anyway. That was my rant. Thank you for watching. If you would like more of me being a human being, you can subscribe to my Patreon. A big old shout out to my patron saints of A Faith Evolving. Or my channel, if you want to do something for free. One-time donations. I have a Ko-fi. I have my merch. Don't know why I said it like that. On Bonfire. Like the video? Comment. You know what? Sound off below if there's something that's pissing you off about the way Christianity is. Because even the good ones, the good denominations are still, like, the institutional church is, like, still, like, messed the heck up. I want to just love God. Is that too much to ask? Okay. Skip it about. Bye.